Hey guys, long time no see. So, I've been thinking about something interesting that I could bring to the channel for us to discuss, for us to talk about a little bit. And this past few days, I've been thinking that something very interesting for us to discuss is about accent. And why have I thought about it? Why have I thought about talking about accents? And why do I think this is an interesting subject for us to talk about? Firstly, I think it is important for us to talk about this because me and Kelly, we've been recording a few videos and we've been posting them on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and these social medias. And maybe some of you guys that has a certain level of English, it's possible for you guys to have noticed a few particularities about the way we pronounce the words. I mean, about our accent, about the way we pronounce a few words, and it is possible for you guys to identify that our pronunciation is different, for example, when compared to the Americans. And why am I mentioning the Americans? For us Brazilians, for most of us, at least for the most of us, we have more contact to the American accent. And why is that? Because most of the movies that we used to watch and TV shows we used to watch, most of them has an American accent, right? So that's why sometimes I think that it's possible for us to understand that the American accent is the correct way for you to speak English, and sometimes you just hear a different accent, a different way to pronounce a few words, and it is possible for you guys to think that this is incorrect, and it is possible for you guys to be watching us, me and Kelly, and to think that our pronunciation is strange, or maybe that our pronunciation is wrong. It is possible for our pronunciation to be wrong. It is possible for our accent not to be perfect, because we are foreigners after all. We are learning how to speak English and we are building our English here in Australia. So one of the things that it is impossible for us, it's being in Australia, being surrounded by Australians all the time, hearing them talking to each other at all times, and not to be influenced by it. So of course that our accent, our pronunciation has changed since we've got here for the first time. And one thing very important, we are building up our English during our time here in Australia. So of course that sometimes we will pronounce a few words like they do, and the Australian accent, it's very, very different when compared to the American one. And even if you compare the Australian accent with the British one, you notice that it's quite different, alright? Talking about this, when I first got here, it was quite hard for me to get used with the Australian accent. It was quite hard for me to get to understand everyone, for me to manage conversations and all of that. And I think that at this point, it's a bit easier for me to talk to them. I'm being able to manage to have good conversations and to understand most things they say. And I think that's it. So that's a tricky thing about accent. That's what I wanted to talk to you about accents. They are very different from each other, and both of them or all of them are correct, okay? There's no a better accent like British or American or Australian or any of them, alright? So each country has its proper dialect, okay? That's it.